Hello, you're watching Initiative Africa. My name is Asha Sampath. Welcome to your weekly magazine featuring Africa on the move through smart innovations and initiatives that work. This week we head for the Congo River and its environmental related issues, but also Zambia, where we look at the challenge of mental health for the elderly. Well, it's time for Initiative Africa. Let's get on with the show with our top stories today. The Congo River is more than just a mission for him, a true environmental priesthood that led him to create an event that is scientific, political and festive at the same time. What future for Africa's largest river, shared by 450 ethnic groups? We'll explore some answers with Vincent Kunda, the president of the Congo River Association, fighting against powerlessness and indifference towards this treasure of humanity. He is our guest.
With the Congo River NGO, we want to celebrate this great river, this great world heritage. But we cannot honor a world heritage that is polluted. Hence, we are aiming to tackle this issue and the protection of this river with concrete actions. We can discuss those together.
Stop the Stigma in Zambia, an association fights to raise awareness of the reality of living with Alzheimer's disease or dementia.
Some people don't come to visit you. They are scared. Even the neighbors, they stopped even asking or coming to visit because they think she's got a mad woman. Some people would say she's a mad woman. Some people would say she's a witch also. So you are traumatized and you're also stigmatized.
How an income-generating activity can precipitate an environmental disaster. We head for the Congo Basin rainforest, where the practice of fish smoking is threatening forests.
When you go fishing, there are days when a lot of fish come out. Sometimes when they don't sell all that fish, they have to smoke it.
For a long time, this disease was associated with witchcraft, a serious mistake since the elderly who behave strangely and lose their memory are frequently suffering from a neurological disease. A recent study shows that Alzheimer's disease and vascular dementia are progressing in Africa at the same rate as the aging of the population. In Zambia, an organization has taken up awareness-raising campaigns and hopes to draw the attention of the authorities to this condition and avoid the stigmatization of the patients. Report by Joshua Jiri, our correspondent on site.
She picks oranges for her 3 grandchildren. Salome Piri, a retired civil servant living in Lusaka, Zambia, once lost her memory while driving in one of the city's suburbs.
I was coming from garden compound, so I was going to Olympia Park, trying to come to Chainama. Then on the way, I didn't know where I was. So I just stopped the car at a church, then parked there waiting for my memory to come back.
Loss of memory is one clear symptom of dementia, but in a society that is not aware about this condition, losing memory in public can have dire consequences for old people in Zambia. When members of the public see an old person wandering aimlessly or idling in a place where they are not known, they are often subjected to violent and verbal abuse on suspicion of practicing witchcraft. Rachel Shankwaya's mother suffered with dementia for a long time. Neighbors would often suspect that her mother was a witch because she behaved strangely and had difficulties eating.
You know, it was very traumatic, especially for me because I looked after her for 3 years. So each day you'd see her going down and she's not eating and you're wondering what's happening to her. And because of that, some people don't come to visit you. They are scared. Even the neighbors, they stopped even asking or coming to visit because they think she's got a mad woman. Some people would say she's a mad woman. Some people would say she's a witch also. So you are traumatized and you're also stigmatized.
Rachel Shankwaya is a member of an organization called Alzheimer's Disease and Related Dementia in Zambia. The association has 11 board members and 59 members represented in 4 of the country's cities. It is made up of dementia caregivers and neurologists that are interested in raising awareness about Alzheimer's disease and dementia and giving patients the best health care they can.
You are able to come to us through this forum. We have a Facebook group and we also have a WhatsApp group which is composed of doctors, neurologists. Those are the people that are helping us. When we have a patient, we take them to these particular people who are helping us to understand this disease and also to help us to take care of our beloved ones.
At Lusaka's Chipata General Hospital, 3 out of 10 clients at the weekly neurology clinic will have dementia-related conditions. Dr. Moses Mata, a member of the Alzheimer's disease and related dementia in Zambia, agrees that there is a lack of relevant data about dementia in Africa.
We don't have a lot of local data around dementia, but we do know that globally there are over 55 million people living with dementia right now, and this number is expected to more than triple by 2050, and most of these will be in countries like Zambia, low and middle income countries. So we know the numbers are there, but we're working on actually counting and seeing what are our actual numbers.
Zambia has witnessed social media postings of old people being beaten or burnt to death on suspicion of practicing witchcraft.
Yeah, it's a lot of that. It's going to be elderly people who are behaving in a particular way, and because of our culture, our setup, it's the easiest explanation I think that people can come up with to say, if I find an elderly person walking around naked in the middle of the night, they must be a witch, not realizing that this is part of what happens in dementia. So people are accused of being witches, they get lost, they wander, they don't know who they are. So people are beaten up. We've heard stories of people being threatened to be burned, all sorts of very unpleasant stories, even people in some parts where they've been killed because of these accusations. So they bring that. Sometimes people are brought by Good Samaritans who just rescue them from crowds. They're brought by the police. So these are the stories we hear quite often. Family members neglect them, they abandon their relatives, and all because of witchcraft, to say, no, this is a witch, even if it's my relative, I can't take care of them, so they just abandon them.
For the future, Dr. Mata and his colleagues in the association want government to develop campaigns aimed at fighting stigma associated with dementia.
We have to recognize that dementia is a problem in Zambia, and it's a problem that's going to affect healthcare and the cost of healthcare. People with dementia may be diagnosed at the age of 65 and live with it up to the age of 80, 90, and they're going to need access to healthcare. So recognizing that we do have dementia in Zambia and being very deliberate in having a national dementia plan as a country. As Zambia, we have committed to have a national dementia plan, but we have not yet acted on it. The dementia plan is going to clearly outline how we will take care of people living with dementia, how we will finance the health care and the social support for people living with dementia.
For Salome Piri, the experience of losing her memory while driving scared her. Fortunately, she was sensible enough to stop the car and wait for her memory to come back.
It was scary. That's why I stopped, because if I had continued, I was going to get lost.
Getting lost is what many people living with dementia experience, and the Alzheimer's disease and related dementia in Zambia wants the government and community to pay more attention to this condition so that old people with dementia are not killed on suspicion of practicing witchcraft.
It's time to hear from our guest this week. Vincent Kunda has dedicated his life to the Congo River, but this gigantic African ecosystem is now threatened by industrial and domestic pollution, an obstacle to tourism and its economic development. Hence the choice of this artist to develop a holistic approach to the challenges of the river through an annual festival, both a scientific meeting and a festive event. The aim is to initiate a dialogue between decision makers while raising awareness among residents of the river. A few weeks before the 2023 edition, which is being held next month in Mwanda, in the west of the DRC, he spoke to Laurent Soustras and Thierry Schiller. Hello, Vincent Kunda. Thank you for joining us on Initiative Africa. Enhancing and protecting the Congo River is the mission you have set for yourself since 2011 with your association Congo River. So first of all, what's the current context of the Congo River?
Alors, le fleuve Congo, c'est un grand fleuve.
The Congo River is a big one, as you know. After the Amazon, it's the next most important river in the world in terms of energy potential.
Potentialité énergétique.
And it's the second longest river in Africa, after the Nile. In fact, the Congo River is the backbone of the DRC, since it crosses practically all the provinces of the Democratic Republic of Congo.
De la RDC. Donc, ce fleuve traverse
And if it's not not the river itself, it's all its tributaries. So it has a significant role because it serves as a means of mobility and cultural identity for the Congolese.
Ça sert de mobilité, ça sert d'identité d'ailleurs culturelle.
I think that it is a symbol for our nation as the one thing we share with 450 ethnic groups. It's the river. But today we have a problem of pollution, a lack of ecological awareness among the population, and the absence of an environmental management policy that puts this river in danger, because when its tributaries are polluted, these small rivers feed the main water stream. Then the small polluted rivers, well, they end up in the bigger ones. Then you have a big polluted river. So with the Congo River NGO, we want to celebrate this great river, this great world heritage. But we cannot honor a world heritage that is polluted. Hence, we are aiming to tackle this issue and the protection of this river with concrete actions. We can discuss those together.
What resources do you have for this agenda with your organization, Congo River?
Alors du coup, le travail est énorme. Nous devons aussi sensibiliser.
The project is huge. We must raise awareness among the public, and often public needs more information and needs to be made aware, among other things, of their impact on nature.
Vis-à-vis à la nature, vis-à-vis aux eaux, parce que quand on jette.
Because when we throw away household waste, it often ends up in the river.
La destination souvent c'est les rivières, la destination souvent c'est le fleuve. Donc nous avons un festival.
So we have a festival where we ask artists and committed musicians to come in and celebrate the river, which really deserves to be celebrated, and raise awareness among the public to adopt eco-responsible behavior concerning our waterways. There are also other activities such as plastic fishing, where we work with fishermen to collect plastic bottles, because there is now more plastic in the river than fish. Because fish and other aquatic life can't thrive in a polluted water. When you fish, you find plastic inside. So we work together to collect these bottles and give them to companies that recycle plastic to give a second life to the plastic bottles. That's pretty much it.
Like you said, the source of this pollution of the Congo River is the pollution of the tributary rivers with plastics, mining activities. What can Congolese civil society do to tackle these issues?
Donc voilà, nous avons plusieurs sortes de pollution.
We have several kinds of pollution. We have plastic pollution, pollution from mining.
Par rapport à la pollution plastique, on a beaucoup de sociétés qui.
As to plastic pollution, we have a lot of companies that produce fruit juice, for example. And the packaging is just more plastic. There's such a huge amount of it. We need an adequate plastic recycling policy, as all these bottles end up in the gutters and rivers.
Dans les caniveaux et en direction du fleuve. Alors dernièrement, même en décembre, nous avons.
So recently, just last December, we had a situation where there were several deaths after the rains because the water couldn't flow properly. So the floodwaters killed more than 10 people.
Pollution industrielle. Nous avons aussi, parce que vous savez que le Congo, à l'est, nous avons des grandes.
And when it comes to industrial pollution in eastern Congo, there are big coltan and gold industries, and these mining companies sometimes dump their waste into the river.
Deux fois, ont tendance à déverser aussi leurs déchets sur le fleuve. Donc, nous tirons encore la sonnette d'alarme. So
we are still sounding the alarm for the decision makers to reinforce security in relation to this industrial pollution and ensure that companies act responsibly and implement their CSR agenda.
La responsabilité sociétale des entreprises. Parce que dernièrement, on a eu aussi encore en 2021.
Because, if I'm not mistaken, the Chishkapa River was polluted by an oil company in 2021. They dumped their waste and the whole river was transformed.
Et toute la rivière a été transformé. Il y avait des maladies parce que les populations riveraines.
People living along the river caught diseases and developed skin problems because they used the river for washing and drinking.
Tout ça auprès de populations. Donc vraiment, nous demandons.
We ask the government because we can only turn to the government and ask it to use its authority so that the industries respect their social responsibilities.
Les sociétales puissent être respectées auprès des industries.
Welcome to the second part of our show. In Congo, the high demand for charcoal is a major source of deforestation, but it's not just about heating and cooking on a daily basis. Traditional fish smoking can also pose a great threat to the forests. This flourishing activity requires more and more wood. As a result, in the Congo Basin in general and in the Republic of Congo in particular, traditional fish smoking is accelerating deforestation. Investigation in Pointe-Noire by Jean-David Miemle and Brice Kinu. This is a smoked herring, the famous makwala, a very popular fish in the Congo. Its production is intrinsically linked to the exploitation of the forest. The Congo Basin is 268 million hectares of forest. That is 70% of Africa's forest cover and 6% of the world's forest area. The forests of the Republic of Congo occupy just over 10% of the space, or 22,410,682 hectares, according to the Congo Basin Forest Partnership. The production of makwala has already ruined the mangroves of Pointe-Noire. Now the wood from the surrounding forests, as in Mayombe or Kwilu, are being targeted.
On 1 hectare, there can be around 700 trees, 1,000 or 250 or 500. It depends. One thing is sure, in a month I can cut down trees on a perimeter of 3,000 meters by 100 meters.
Congolese legislation does not yet address the issue of small loggers, who are nevertheless very dynamic. Ignored by the tax services in particular, they are still evolving in the informal sector, with a simple chainsaw as their main asset.
I prefer to buy the land temporarily, because there is a period of 3 years to exploit the domain. In less than a month, during the exploitation period, you can buy another property to continue the exploitation.
This logger who says he bought a hectare of land for 1 million CFA francs, about 1,500 euros. He specifies that his approach initially consisted of obtaining a long 3-year lease from a village chief. Then, the income earned before the end of the lease allows the buyer to definitely buy one or several plots of forest and thus continue the operating cycle. Obviously, there's a close link between the quantity of fish to be smoked and the exploitation of wood. For 20 crates, the wooden content is 2 tricycles when fully loaded. We start smoking fish in the morning and finish between 5 p.m. and 6 p.m. Time to spread and turn the fish over the ovens, it's difficult work. It all depends on the quantity and the size of the fish. When it comes to big fish, it consumes lots of wood. Civil society representatives warn against reckless exploitation of the forest.
When you go fishing, there are days when a lot of fish come out. Sometimes, when they don't sell all that fish, they have to smoke it. If there is a lot of fish to smoke, a lot of wood is used. And if we use a lot of wood, it means that we have to use a lot of wood in our forests. And if we cut a lot of wood, it becomes a danger for humanity. Because as you know, today the forest plays a very important role for our survival, because the forest tries to store carbon dioxide to emit oxygen.
It is not known exactly how much wood is taken for smoking fish. In 2007, a World Bank study revealed that an inhabitant of Congo used 1 cubic meter of wood per year for a total production of 100 million cubic meters. Half of it is for firewood. Solutions already exist, such as fish smoking ovens, imported or locally made.
Can smoke around more than 300 kilos of fish per hour. The smoking time is much shorter. Here, in an hour, one can already smoke in dry products. On the other hand, traditional smoking techniques, sometimes take days.
The whole challenge is to popularize and finance these discoveries in order to sustainably preserve the forests of Congo in particular. We get back to Vincent Kunda, the president of the Congo River Association. He evokes the emerging enthusiasm of Congolese youth for the river and calls for better consultation against polluting industrial interests. Let's hear more from him. Vincent Kunda, you're also an artist. How did you come up with the idea of defending the Congo River?
Alors, voilà. So here goes. I'm basically an artist. I always wanted to create a music festival. To begin with, I wanted to organize a Latino music festival. Because, Congolese music is the music that went from Africa to the West Indies with the deportation of the Africans. It went to the West Indies and it came back in the form of salsa and so on. But the rhythms, all that comes from Africa. That's what they say.
Alors j'avais voulu faire un festival dans ce sens-là.
So I wanted to create a festival to highlight this. Then one day I was eating with some friends along the Congo River, which is impressive. I imagined a stage around and a festival along the river. And I said to my friends, we have a great river, this great Congo River. If we could showcase the river and celebrate it, it would be great.
Ça serait une très bonne chose. Et c'est parti de là.
And that's how it began. The idea took root. As we worked on the idea, we quickly understood the issues linked to this river, including the environmental issues, the ecological issues, and even the economic issues, because we could create a whole economy around the river. After all, there is transport. We can develop transport that can give jobs to private individuals by introducing fast boats to help them commute. The river can also feed the Congolese because there are so many fish. We have small-scale fishing, but we can develop industrial fishing, which will serve to feed the Congolese, which would be useful.
Et ça peut servir encore, ce fleuve-là peut servir de tourisme.
The river can be used for tourism. We can develop hotels and barges like you see elsewhere around the river.
Autour de ce fleuve, donc vraiment il y a des enjeux.
There are real substantial economic stakes around this river. Not to mention energy, because it is the second largest river in the world in terms of energy potential.
On parle développement, industrialisation.
And development and industrialization can't happen without energy. And this river, again, gives us the possibility of having clean energy, because it's not nuclear or fossil energy. It is clean energy. So when we understood all these issues, we thought it can't just be a music festival aspect. There also has to be a scientific framework where we deal with these issues for the socio-economic good of the Congolese and Africans, as this can be a great asset to all Africans.
But still, one of the original features of your event is this festive and joyful musical tone which you have kept quite present in your approach. How is that being translated in your work?
Alors, nous pensons que la musique a une force.
Music has strength. Art, in general, has impact because we also work with actors. We also work with painters.
Nous pensons que ça a une force et nous pouvons
It has impact, and we can easily reach the public through the strength of art and culture.
De l'art et de la culture.
So there are many issues at stake. You said environmental, economic and cultural. How does the Congolese population react to that? What do the inhabitants of the Congo River really want?
Alors, beaucoup de Congolais.
Many Congolese needed to know the potential of this river, and if you come to Kinshasa, you will see that the city has the river on its back.
Que la capitale donne le dos au fleuve. Et il y a des Congolais qui ont grandi.
And there are some Congolese who have grown up without ever taking a walk along the river, which is a shame.
Et quand nous parlons de la richesse de ce fleuve,
and when we spoke of the wealth of this river, the importance of this river, we were amazed to see the enthusiasm. We launched a poetry competition for young people called In the Winding Course of the Congo River. We did it on social networks and were surprised to see over 10,000 students submitting poems about the Congo River.
Pour le fleuve Congo, mais on avait retenu que 5 poèmes, mais
from which we selected only 5. But this experience taught us that the Congolese might need to know more about this river, and we are glad to provide information about the river.
Qui donne l'information sur ce fleuve-là, parce qu'il faut aussi noter que
because sources of fresh water today are becoming increasingly vulnerable.
Qui devient de plus en plus vulnérable. Donc, le Congo représente 57%.
And the Congo represents 57% of freshwater reserves of the entire African continent. This is enormous. So we have to be conscious of maintaining its quality and quantity. We are raising awareness among the population, especially among young people, because we say that young people are the decision makers of tomorrow. We have many activities for young people, including the poetry competition.
Le concours de poésie, et avec une ONG suisse,
and with a Swiss NGO, we are organizing actions in Congo where there is participatory research training with young people and non-scientists. We teach them a little about the Congo's water system, its acidity levels, and many other things. And like I said, young people are tomorrow's decision makers and must be made aware of this at the grassroots level. So it's indeed a grassroots awareness campaign.
In some countries like Nigeria, NGOs have quickly taken polluting companies to court. Do you see this awareness raising in the Congo leading to local associations and the Congolese population becoming more aggressive on these issues?
Nous pensons que nous devons aller dans ce sens.
We think we must head in this direction because today the lack of ecological respect is killing people.
Nous sommes une force, nous pouvons changer les choses.
We are a united force. We can change things, but we need an environmental policy for waste management.
Une politique environnementale de gestion de déchets. Vous savez, Kinshasa, c'est plus de 15 millions.
Kinshasa has more than 15 million inhabitants. For a city, a megacity with more than 15 million people living in it without a waste management policy, well, it's a disaster.
Donc nous sommes là en tant que société civile.
We are here as a civil society to sound the alarm.
Mais si il faut aller en justice contre toutes ces sociétés.
But we are ready to take companies to court because this is about human lives. And if we have to go to court, then I call on all the NGOs to unite and see how to work together to raise people's ecological awareness.
C'est un civique écologique.
Vincent Kunda, thank you very much.
Merci à vous.
Well, that's it. Initiative Africa is over for today. You can find the interview of Vincent Kunda as well as our shows on our website, africaonair.com. And of course, feel free to follow us on all our social media channels by liking, sharing and commenting using the hashtag Initiative Africa. And don't forget, next week, same time, same channel, I'll see you again for a new edition of Business Africa. Have a great week, and until next time, goodbye.